Alright, yo, what's going on everybody? This is Brendan back again with another video, and today we are talking again about recording audio with a RED camera. I made a video a while back talking about this subject, but I was more talking about the philosophy behind me recording audio with my RED and kind of the tools that I use, but I realized after I got a bunch of questions asking about it, I never really showed you guys my specific setup with this gear and kind of the settings I use in camera and how I actually make it work. So I've been getting a lot of questions about that, and I wanted to just shoot a really quick video on my iPhone, so apologize if the quality isn't that great or if it's kind of shaky, because I'm actually showing you my RED, so I can't record with my RED today. But yeah, so let me just turn the camera around, show you guys a little bit more of an in-depth look on how I set up my audio recording with a RED. If you want to see the other video that I made about audio, it will be the very first link in the description, so you can go check that out. You can go to that, watch that video first, then come back to this one, or I don't care the order you watch them in, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, so let me flip the camera around, show you guys what we got going on here. This is my RED and a few of the pieces of kit that I use to record audio with. So if you saw that last video before, then you know I use a Rode shotgun mic, and I also use Sennheiser wireless lav mics to record with my RED. So how do I actually do this? How do I set it up? First of all, let me get my RED turned on here. That's going to take a few seconds. So while that is booting up, let me talk a little bit about this. Actually, the very first thing that I'm going to talk about is actually the handle, because the handle is kind of where everything starts for attaching all of my gear to the RED to record onto it. So as you'll see here, this is the RED DSMC1 handle. I did talk about this in one of the very first videos that I made, but I'm going to talk about it again because most of you probably haven't seen that video. So this is the DSMC1 handle. And the DSMC1 handle is not designed to fit on a DSMC2 camera body. And the reason is this part right here between where the monitor mounts and where the handle actually screws on, this part is too tight of a fit. The handle doesn't actually fit with the monitor on simultaneously. It's too wide. In order to fix that, I actually modified this handle. Let me spin it around this way to show you. As you can see right here, there's some paint chipped away and actually ground off. I actually ground this handle down on a stone grinder, which is made for metal. This is just like aluminum. It's not too hard to grind away, and it doesn't affect the structural integrity of the handle at all. But I was able to take about like 1 or 2 millimeters off the front edge of this handle, so that way it would fit on this camera. And the reason that I did that is because this handle is a little bit cheaper than the newer handles that RED makes, and also it has a 1/4-20 port right here on the top where you grip it. So this is not actually built into the handle. This is a wooden camera shoe plate, a cold shoe mount, that I screwed on there so that way I can put things like a microphone onto this like adapter mount piece, so that way I can fit a microphone and it won't get in the way of the camera or of the monitor or whatever. Some of the other handles have 1/4-20 screw points, but they're actually like on this part or on this part of the handle, which they get in the way of the monitor. Like if you tried to attach this microphone here, it would get in the way of the monitor, and that's no good. First things first, we'll start with the Rode microphone. I just mounted onto here. Let me see if I can do this with one hand. Shouldn't be too hard. There we go. So I just screw it onto the 1/4-20 port like that. Super easy. I think a lot of you will find that this is actually not as complex as you might think it is. A lot of people aren't really familiar with the RED system, but it's actually super simple. Pretty much works the same way DSLR does. You have a little port back here with a little picture of a microphone, and that's where you plug in the normal microphone jack. Goes right into there. See if I can do that. There we go, one-handed. Boom. So that's first. Let me turn this on. There we go, that's on. And you'll see when I turn that on, let me turn it back off. You'll see I lose a signal there, and when I turn it back on, you'll see the signal picks up again. So if I were to snap my fingers, you'll see it peaks there, and that means it's working. The way that I do this is in the setup. Great thing about this is it's all touchscreen, so I can actually tap the microphone settings, and it'll open up my audio settings automatically if I just tap where I'm getting that audio from. So I can adjust channels 1 and 2, which is what we see right here going. It says channel 1 and 2. I can adjust channel 3 and 4, so if I tap that, it adjusts these bottom 2 channels, which you will see are blacked out. There's nothing recording into those right now. And the adjustments that I have for these channels, 1, 2, 3, and 4, are the source and the name, and that's pretty much it. So there's two sources I can change are camera internal, or what I already have into channel 1 and 2, rear analog. So let me drop down this menu. I can do either rear analog or camera internal. I can't do all 4 channels with just one of the two. I can just do the first 2 channels or the second 2 channels with each one. So if I wanted to, I could make the first 2 channels the internal camera microphone, which is a shitty microphone and it's just for scratch audio. I could go to the next 2 channels, and then I could make this rear analog. Click OK, and then if I close this, you'll see now I'm actually recording on both 1, 2, and 3 and 4. Channels 1 and 2 are the internal microphone, and 3 and 4 is the external microphone. So if I were to snap, you'll see now they're going. The reason one is quieter than the other, so if I tap this again, open up the settings, if I go to my preamp gain, you'll see channels 3 and 4 are turned way down, so I'm getting almost no signal from them. So if I turn them up, let's just turn them up all the way for the sake of this test, you'll see now it's really, really, really loud, and it's peaking. So that's it. You adjust which channels your microphone input goes to. Whatever's plugged into back here is what's it called? Let me go back. Rear analog, right? So whatever's plugged in back here, you set whatever channel, either 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, to rear analog. You go to preamp gain and you adjust rear analog to whatever level you want, so that way it's not peaking, but it's also not too quiet. And that's it. And then if you're still having trouble hearing it, but the levels look nice, then you adjust your headphone volume from here. And that's all there is to it. There's nothing else. So other people were asking what I do with my wireless lav mic. And the only difference here is, let me unscrew this. So with my wireless lav mic, this is the receiver right here. It has the same mount on the back, so I can put it on here just the same. See if I can get this on there. There we go. So I can mount that the same exact way. It's facing forward. I got the antenna going out there. And then I have the cable that's plugged into it, but you'll see this is an XLR cable. I don't have an XLR input on this camera, so all you need to do is get an adapter. So that's what this big cable that I have is here, but this adapter is definitely too long. That's one of the improvements that I definitely need to make this system, is I need to get a shorter adapter. The longer your cable is, the more prone it is to getting frequencies that you don't want and losing quality and things like that. So I don't know how long this cable is. It's way too long. As you can see, I have to coil it up and just keep it coiled up. But what I would recommend is getting like a 6-inch long cable. So, and then pretty much all you do is you plug these two in together. Let me see if I can do this with one hand. Can I do it? Can you do it? It's gonna work. Hey, got it. So you plug those two in, and then you plug this in like so, and that's it. That's how the setup works, and there's nothing else to it. Obviously, you need to coil this up and attach it somewhere to your camera, but that's the setup. That's all I do. Yeah, so that is how I record audio with my RED. Definitely a lot easier than you might suspect if you've never recorded audio with a RED before. It's pretty much like recording audio with any DSLR or any other camera. I hope that that pretty much answered all your guys' questions. But if you have more questions, be sure to leave them in the description below. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to subscribe, follow me on Instagram at bscottyg, and I will catch you guys later. Thanks.